Hey everyone, I'm Johnny and this is my co-host Connor.
Welcome to our podcast, Dad Shoes.
Have you ever wondered where a dad joke comes from?
Or how dads just seem to have the right wisdom for the moment.
Or you're just trying to figure out what your dad was thinking.
Maybe you are a dad, and you just need to hear,
Hey man, us too.
well, we're learning what it's like to wear the dad shoes.
And we'd like to invite you to join us on this journey. But first things first, Connor. I got an injection today.
Oh, like a vaccine?
Yes! Like a vaccine.
Oh.
I got my first
boy.
COVID vaccine, my first dose of what I'm going to affectionately refer to as the Dolly Parton vaccine, the Moderna vaccine. Because, let me just tell you, Dolly Parton is a treasure. She just is an absolute gem.
Isn't she like helping out Texas right now too? Or is that somebody else?
Probably.
She helps out a lot of people.
I mean, yeah, exactly. She just helps out everybody. I think it was AOC, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if Dolly Parton was helping out in Texas. That woman.
What?
Never mind. My brother said, we were in a tweet, or not a tweet. We were in a group chat. It's my dad, my stepmother, and my brother and sister-in-law and my wife. And because I don't know if I've said this before, my dad got COVID a couple weeks ago. Well,
Yeah.
not a couple weeks ago, at the end of January. And he spent the whole month of February in the hospital. And he's better. He got better. But because of that, we were all texting in a group chat. My stepmother couldn't see him because they're not letting any visitors. So the best we could do was video, but he just wasn't up to it. So texting was the best. So we were texting with everybody and just sending pictures. And so I kept this up and I told them all I got vaccinated. My brother and sister-in-law also did today, and my stepmother.
Wow.
I don't know if it was today or
Family
just this
affair.
week. Yeah, it's completely. I mean, we were separated by 700 miles. Miami to Atlanta.
Close enough. How did this come about? Like, were you just right place, right time? Did you register? Like, how did you get the vaccine?
So I set up an appointment, and you go to public. Well, where we are, you go to Publix.com. I just did it at Publix. It was easier.
Like at physical Publix or like at their website?
On the website, I think it's publixvaccine.com.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, so my mom
I was there yesterday. I'm
got-
going to be there tomorrow morning at 7 a.m.
to get your vaccine.
Well, no, I'm going to be on the website.
Oh.
I'm trying to get an appointment.
I'm trying to get my wife an appointment as well.
My brother got his first vaccine today.
He did.
Yes.
That's
he had to go
awesome.
to the fairgrounds, though.
Was it like a max vaccine, like a drive-through vaccine area?
He did say it was like a big tent, and he felt like he was in a movie.
No kidding.
Yeah, they had a big tent out there. I went by the community center. I did not have an appointment, but I heard that there was a bunch of spare at the community center today, and they had big signs that said vaccine site closed. So
That's a bummer.
like, all right, well, I didn't have an appointment anyway.
Yeah.
I'm going to try tomorrow, see if I can get an appointment.
Yeah.
But yeah, I no offense. I mean, I'm surprised. I was going to say no offense. I'm surprised you were able to get in, because I know they're like really picky about like who's qualified. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Not
I haven't really
anymore.
tried, I guess, but so I was trying to get one
Mm-hmm.
because I work at a church with a preschool.
Right.
So I was told because the church I work at has a preschool that then I was eligible.
Huh.
My wife has an appointment. We're going to see if, I know this might be frowned upon too. We're going to see if we can get her a different appointment.
Why?
Because her current appointment is all the way in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh,
There
yeah.
wasn't anything in Palm Beach County. So she just took what she could get.
Yep.
So we're going to see tomorrow if we can get something a little closer, something for me, something for my grandpa. I know my mom figured out she just went to Publix.
What?
Like she went to Publix at the end of the day and was like, hey, I heard sometimes you have extras. And they were like, yeah, come here. And they gave her first shot.
No kidding. When?
This was a couple days ago.
Yeah. So that was what I wanted to do. I was just going to start doing that. I happened to be there, and I said I'd heard sometimes there were extra injections, and the lady said you got to go make an appointment. So
Yeah. Well, they let her, I don't know if they just, because they know my mom or she's such a nice lady, they let her get one. But she definitely said afterwards there were other people asking and they were told they had to make an appointment. So she's like, I don't know why I got it, but
She may have had the last one.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I mean, that's luck right there.
Yeah.
But, 'cause
And
that's
it
what
is
we
your
heard
mom.
about
I mean,
that's what we heard about the community center. Is she's got a friend who was working there, and she's like, "Yeah, we had all these appointments. One person showed up, so they just
what were
had
they
all
giving
these."
out?
I guess the Johnson and Johnson one.
Okay. Because that's one of the things that was really bothering me, and I think other people as well. You get all these appointments, and because there are older people who are making 3 and 4 appointments, and what I think is happening is they don't know that they're scheduling the appointment because it doesn't come up and say, like, it doesn't give you the option to select it, at least in for Publix. It just kind of gives it to you. You can select like the county, but then it just gives it to you. And so I think what was happening was people were over scheduling their appointments.
Yeah.
So then they go to one, they don't show up for the other 3, and or maybe they're just not showing up because they didn't realize or whatever. So now they got these extra vaccines that once they're mixed, that's it. They can't be put back in the vial and refrozen.
Yeah. It's like, no, you got to use it now.
They've got to be injected. So there was like a pharmacy in or somewhere that was it was like a CVS or something, and they started going around with like hey, you want a vaccine? Come with me. And they were just clearing out what they had because it was the end of the day and nobody showed up.
Might as well
Get
it in there.
So yeah, but anyways, I got my first injection today. You ever get a tetanus shot?
I mean, I have in the past. I don't remember the last one I got.
Do you remember what it felt like?
The tetanus shots usually hurt a little bit more, right?
Yeah. Like it feels like you could just got a dead
I think the last time I got one, I got a Tdap when my daughter was born.
Yeah, okay.
Is that tetanus? That's like a tetanus update
I don't
or
think
something
so.
like that.
I think it's tetanus and something else.
Yeah,
Hold on.
it's combined.
Tetanus, diphtheria, and pertussis.
Yeah, it's like combined here. Oof.
This doesn't feel the same way. In fact, she injected me with it, and I said, "Oh, I feel it." Like this is a couple minutes after. I said, "Oh, I feel it," and she comes back like, "What do you mean you feel it?" Like she's concerned. Like, "Oh, I'm having an allergic reaction." I'm like, "I feel it." What? Because who says that? And I'm like, "No, like I can feel it in my arm." Oh, you can feel the injection. Yeah, it feels like tetanus.
Yeah.
She actually started laughing because she's like, "Oh, I thought like you were feeling it throughout your body."
Yeah.
Like, I'm having a transcendental experience. I feel it.
Whoa, man.
Whoa, dude.
But
no, like I could. Yeah, it was like 2 minutes after I felt the soreness.
My uncle got his first injection, and he said he felt like crap for like 2 days. He felt awful. And then after the first one, and then my mom got her first one because she got one of the doubles. She didn't get the Johnson and Johnson,
right?
And she didn't feel it at all. She's like, "I think they gave me a fake one." I'm like, "Mom, no. Why would they do that?" Like they just messing with me.
No, I feel great.
Yeah,
apart from feeling like I got punched in the shoulder.
Yeah, she had no problems at all.
Yeah, so I'm actually really stoked. And I was talking to my mom, so she set up my grandmother to get the Johnson and Johnson, and they had to go to Weston in Broward, and I said I want the Johnson and Johnson not because not for any particular reason other than I don't have to remember to go get the second dose.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, well, what
One
they
and
do
done.
is when you set your appointment up, they set your appointment up for both of them. So you don't have to remember.
Yeah. Once you get the first one, you're good.
So that was my thing. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to set that up.
That is the blessing. And even though my mom went in and didn't have an appointment, like she's guaranteed the next one.
And did they already set up the appointment for her?
I guess they picked a day. Like she knows when she needs to go back.
That's awesome.
But anyway.
So let me ask you, man, how's daylight savings treating you?
Daylight savings is kicking my ass right now.
Is it now?
I do not say that lightly.
We're going to get an E on this one.
I know.
To quote Kyra's
It's been rough, dude. Daylight savings has been rough. My kids are not adjusted. And
both
on
of
top
them?
of that, well, Riley does okay. Her problem is we recently rearranged her room, and she is not okay with it.
That'll do it.
But she got to the point her bed used to be under her window, and she could reach the blinds.
Okay, yeah.
And so when she wakes up, she'll stand up and start pulling on the blinds. So we had to move her bed to the other wall. And she does not like
where the dresser was.
Where the dresser was. And now her head is right by the door. So when you like lay her down and you try and leave the room, she hears
Click.
you. And she's like, hey. Yeah.
Oh, man.
So that's been frustrating. And Titus just, he's on the old schedule, man. To him, it is, let's see, it's almost 10 o'clock now. To him, it's, yeah, it's almost 9 o'clock.
Now it's bedtime.
He actually came out. Yeah. And he already was stayed up late.
Yeah.
So now we put him to bed. He's like, dude, I'm not tired. Like, why am I here?
Yeah. That's so funny.
It's the worst, dude. He it's like he gets tired twice because lately, he owns the bedtime routine and we need to just step up on that, I guess, because we'll get him in bed. And the other day we read books in bed, but we need to go brush teeth. And he's like, I don't want to get up. Like, I'm tired. And he literally rolled out of bed, like onto the floor, just slunk himself down and was just collapsed on the floor. And I was like, dude, come on, get up.
So
we gotta
funny.
go. So I pick him up and I bring him into the bathroom. I put him on the stool. He just drops his head right onto the counter. And he's like, I don't want to do this.
So funny.
But then we brush his teeth.
And he's awake.
And he doesn't want to do it, so I got to do it for him. And so that tussle wakes him up. And now he's like, all right, I'm ready to go. Like,
what are we doing now?
Now I'm awake. So what are we going to do now? I'm like, no, dude, you need to stay in bed. And now I know your daughter's been doing this for a while. He's now realized that he can leave his room, like, whenever he wants, which is good. We want him to know that he can do that.
Yeah.
So he doesn't yell anymore. He'll just leave his room and come find us.
I heard that today.
It's like, yeah. We sat down to record, and he just showed up in the back and was like, hey, what are you doing? Like, ugh.
Man, that's... I'm sorry to find amusement in your trouble.
Well, somebody's got to.
Okay.
Sometimes there's nothing you can do. I mean, some days when Titus doesn't want to go to sleep, I'm like, all right, bro, we're going to go sit on the couch for a little bit.
Man.
Just something to end the fight.
I got to tell you, man,
Yeah.
I feel blessed because... And I don't mean to rub it in, and I'm sorry if it sounds that way, but Charlotte May, since daylight savings time, mommy and daddy, we ain't handling it well. Tonight was the first night we had dinner at a reasonable hour, and we ate at 7, right? We normally have dinner on the table by 6:30, right? Because that's just, we have dinner.
It's just the way it works.
It's about a half hour. We have dinner for a half hour. We go take a bath for 20 minutes. We play for a few minutes. We get dressed. We take a walk.
Wait a minute.
What?
You take a bath, then you play, then you get dressed. So you're just
not
playing naked.
Not mommy and daddy. Like the girls, we put the girls in the bath. So that we bathe the girls, and then the girls get out and listen. As maybe most dads don't know. So listen, if you're a new dad listening to this, listen to this part. Your child who is in diapers needs naked time, right? And listen, everybody loves a little bit of naked time. Your child needs it. Connor, you and me, we don't need naked time. We get enough freedom. We get enough airflow. We're good. But if you were sitting in a diaper full of your own excrement all day, and listen, you change your diaper regularly, that's great. You still have been sitting in pee, right? For at least a little bit. And then you get wet. So it is highly recommended you get naked time. Babies get naked time. And it's just time to be naked. So that's what we do. We take them out of the bath. And
air out the parts.
And we air out the parts.
Just air out the parts.
And the girls, I don't know. I mean, I think they would have the same fun if they were dressed already and already in diapers. But it's just, before they get dressed, after they get out of the bath, they're so happy. And it's fun to just goof off. And they'll jump, and they're jumping on. We have a little futon in Mabel's room, and they're jumping on the futon and running around the house. And man, they're excited. So,
they could feel the breeze.
Whatever, they could feel the breeze, man. Whatever, I don't care. So then we get dressed and then we go for a walk. And usually by the time we get back from our walk, it's about 8 o'clock. Perfect bedtime. So we haven't had a walk until tonight because dinner's been so late. So we finally got dinner on the table at like 7, and we had a late walk and everything, and Sunday morning, because the time switch is at midnight. Like it goes from 11:59 to 1 a.m. Right? It skips at 12 o'clock hour. So we put the girls down at the normal time on Saturday. It's 8 o'clock, right? They freaking woke up at 6:30 on Sunday. Like they knew the time had changed. So mommy and daddy are like, oh, I don't want to get up. Nope, girls are awake. All right, fine, we're awake. They have had zero issue. Nothing has changed to them. The sun just goes down a little bit later. For me, dude, it doesn't really, like, the time change doesn't affect me. But it's like, I was looking forward to, like, they're going to sleep in an hour, right? Because,
yeah,
right? That's how that's going to work, right? Nope. Nope.
Since we jumped ahead, no.
And they're completely fine with it. We have not had the same issues you have. So
no. Well, and when we had daylight savings time, the kids went to bed at the normal time. I had to be at work early the next day anyway, so I was up and out of the house before the kids were awake. Anyway,
that's good.
It sucked for me because I lost an hour of sleep the day before I had to be to work early. But it is what it is. So I don't know what time the kids woke up, but yeah, they just like. And I don't think that Riley has as much as an issue as Titus does, and he already had an issue going to sleep. But it's been tough.
Yeah, we actually started going back to church this week.
It's been kicking my butt.
We'd started going back to church in like August or September. And then that like the end of November, everything started, like the COVID started kicking up, the cases started kicking up, so we stopped going just because it wasn't safe for anybody. I'm out with the public, so if I get it and then I bring it to church unknowingly, it's just not safe.
There's old people there.
Yeah. So we stopped going. With daylight savings was the first day we went back. So last Sunday.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just kind of on that topic. I don't know if it's all families, if it's just families, or if like everybody's like this. But we're noticing people just like being at home now.
I think it's an excuse. Do they watch? Do you get a lot of? You guys are doing the live streaming, right?
Yeah, we get a decent number live streaming. And let me tell you, when we were doing church online and I didn't have to get my kids dressed, man, that was awesome. Mm-hmm. That was great. I see the appeal. But it's not just that. It's just anything. It's like, I'm just going to go home.
What do you mean?
I think people like being at home more. They've gotten used to it. So now that it's, vaccines are coming out, and at least in Florida, restrictions are lightening.
Non-existent.
It depends on where you are.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just families. Maybe if you don't have kids or a spouse, you're like raring to go.
My spouse is home all the time,
but
so she, and any chance she gets to go out, she's all for it.
She's like, "Yep, here we go."
Not inside. Heck yes, dude. But no, I see that. I see a lot of people. I can see a lot of people not wanting to go out.
Once you get comfortable at home,
we don't do church at home. We tried before we moved. We tried doing our old church online. They were doing it, but it was like the website didn't work the first few weeks or something like that. I didn't know how to get on, and then once I figured it out, I just didn't care anymore. It was like we were out of you're out of the loop. You're out of the routine.
You know what else this week we had? Not only did we have daylight savings time, we also had St. Paddy's Day.
Yeah, we did.
And something very important happened on St. Paddy's Day.
Yeah?
Ryan Reynolds watched The Green Lantern for the first time.
Did he tweet about it?
He live tweeted it.
No way!
Yeah.
Give me the highlights.
Oh, man. So he
Isn't that the movie he met his wife? Or had they met before?
Met her, but like they definitely worked together in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Which, the spoiler, that'll come up later.
Oh, spoiler alert.
It was kind of, I don't know if he was like paid to do this or something, or like just to drum up some revenue, but basically the third major event that happened this week, the SNYDER Cut, has been released.
I saw something about it, and it was like the SNYDER Cut is the hold on. It said Snyder Justice League is the new Justice League we all wanted, or something like that. It was like the headline.
Maybe. It's last I saw, the Rotten Tomatoes had it at like 76%. Like, I don't know what the old one was at, but
okay. So
anyway,
what was the original?
Just the highlights of this. He was saying like, "Oh, I'm super stoked for the Snyder Cut, so in honor of that, I'm going to watch Green Lantern for the first time."
How does that? How is that incorporated?
Well, it's just DC properties.
Okay.
So the video that he posted, he's sitting at his desk actually, pouring a big old glass of aviation gin.
I saw a great aviation gin thing,
which I guess really helped with his viewing. But he's watching it at his laptop, like at his desk, not where I would choose to watch a movie. Particularly one I'm not excited to watch. Wearing his Green Lantern ring, because why the heck not? He looks frightened though.
He looks what?
He looks frightened though. But yeah, some of the things he tweeted.
Golly, that was a terrible costume. Oh my gosh.
I'm
looking at pictures of that right now. That is terrible.
Oh yeah, he's like, yeah, see if you can spot the CGI.
My favorite line from Deadpool: "Please don't make the super suit green or CGI."
Oh boy, tragic childhood flashback sequence killing a beloved parent, designed to instill a level of depth and hard-fought empathy for our hero. Disney perfected this move. This protagonist seems reckless but likable.
I just saw a picture. It's got Flash, Superman, Geralt, the Green Lantern, and then Batman. And it says Ryan Reynolds likes Green Lantern Snyder Cut tweet. It's pretty good.
Yeah. He says, I only ever read my parts for the script, so this is genuinely exciting for me to watch.
What? He's got a drink for it?
Well, yeah, he's drinking aviation gin.
No. 1.5 ounces aviation gin, an ounce apple pucker, half ounce lemon juice, top with ginger ale. That sounds delicious.
Yeah, it looks good. It's green. And he's one of his tweets, "Hey, Blake Lively's in this movie."
She's hot. I hope he says that.
I mean, not on that tweet, but anyway. I don't know. That was a little aside. I thought it was fun.
That is so funny.
I thought it was
fun. That was Taika Waititi?
Apparently. I didn't know that.
No kidding.
I have to look at the IMDb for that. I'd believe it.
Yeah.
I liked Green Lantern. I enjoyed it. When Green Lantern came out, I was in a big Green Lantern phase. Like,
listen,
he was my favorite superhero when that movie came out. I enjoyed the movie. I thought it wasn't bad. I haven't watched it in years.
I loved it when I saw it. I thought it was superhero campy, but it was very enjoyable.
Superhero movies were like really good.
Yeah, I mean, it was good. I enjoyed it. But having seen the MCU...
Yeah, it doesn't compare.
Nah, not really.
Not even close.
Anyways,
I got one more funny story for you.
Oh yeah?
Because I've recently, although not entirely willingly, become an iPhone user.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it's kind of a work thing. I don't know what to deal with iMessages, but apparently if you use iMessage, you think it's the greatest messaging app in the world. I got to be honest, I don't see the appeal.
I do see the appeal. You ready for it?
I know exactly what you're going to say.
Okay,
let's hear it.
You're in a group chat, all right? Somebody says, "Man, that was a great party last night." And then your group message says, "Johnny liked, man, that was a great party last night. Connor liked, man, it was a great party last night. Ryan liked, man, it was a great party last night."
My gosh, seriously.
That is why. I feel like
I'm being held hostage by Apple, really.
Because they do that.
And maybe that's their whole marketing scheme.
My mother-in-law and my stepmother and my sister-in-law both are iPhone users.
Yeah.
My stepmother loves that whole, like, you can like an image. I love it too. That was when that came out, I loved it. It was great. I hated everything else about Apple. Their UI was great. Their customer service sucks. Some of their apps they started tweaking with and they sucked. Their battery life sucked. It was like you're ruining your phones just so you can make an extra buck, right? So I switched. Right, like we'd had that for like 6 months. Yeah. And now I wish it would incorporate, like you could do that in on Android, because there's a way you can congratulate or something, and it sends up fireworks or something.
Well, what I've noticed, what you can do, you have to both be using the same messaging app.
Mm-hmm.
So when I had an Android, I actually used Google's messaging app. I did not use the Samsung one that came pre-installed.
What's Google's messaging app?
It's called Messages, the same as every other messaging app. But my brother used the same thing, and so I noticed when I was messaging him, it was sending a Google message. It wasn't sending a text message. It was doing the same exact thing that iMessage does, but nobody knows about it. Nobody uses it. You know?
Oh, no kidding. Do you still use it?
No,
because now you're on an iPhone.
Now I'm using iPhone. It was kind of cool, but I feel like you're being held hostage with that. I was amazed at how many of the group chats that I'm in can finally become iMessage group chats.
Just because
and everybody's just because of me. I was the holdout.
Thanks, Connor.
Look, I'll be honest. It's a sleek phone.
Sure.
It really is. It's an iPhone 11. So I went from an S10 to an iPhone 11. I think it's the same generation.
Probably.
It's a sleek phone. I'll give you that. There's a couple things I got to get used to. The exclamation point and the question mark are in different places.
Well,
from an Android phone.
On me, the exclamation point is I hold down A, and the question mark is I hold down M.
Yeah, that's not...
I do remember that being a thing when I switched to Android.
It's moved. I like the Apple keyboard better, though, in typing letters, because I don't misspell as much.
Yes.
I've never, in all the years that I had a Samsung, I seem to have misspelled a lot, but now it's not as much. Like
I said, the UI is great on Apple. And that's their whole thing. That is their entire business model, is based on user interface.
Yeah. It gets you into the ecosystem, right? They get you the iPhone, they get you the AirPods, they get you the MacBook, they get you the iPad.
Not the extended universe is not what I was talking about. I was just talking about the Apple's user interface. That is their signature.
It is good. It is good. Which, side note, apparently Justin Long, formerly the I'm a Mac guy,
the Mac,
is now doing Intel commercials.
That is
for PC.
Actually, that's okay. I mean, he was doing I'm a Mac commercials when they switched to Intel.
Yeah, well, maybe he was always an Intel guy, and maybe now Mac is building their own chips, and they're not using Intel.
Again, they're building their own chips again because they can't get any from Intel because we can't get microprocessors.
Yeah. Anyway, funny story about it. When I moved my SIM card from my Android phone to my iPhone, I don't know what happened. My brain just, the pattern you use to log in to get into your phone.
Okay.
You have to use a pattern, and after you use the pattern, you can use your thumbprint or whatever. My brain just immediately deleted the muscle memory that was my pattern to get into my Android phone. So I couldn't even get into it.
Wow.
Which I didn't really need
that
to.
Is
there were some pictures
bonkers.
And things. My brain just immediately deleted it. And I tried so many times. I was one attempt away from my phone being completely wiped. It was hey, if you mess up one more time, we're going to wipe your phone.
Wow.
And that's that. You can get your stuff back. You can log in with your Google account and get all your stuff back. But if you mess up again, we're going to wipe your phone.
Do you remember when that happened at your house?
What's that?
It was 2019. We're at your house for New Year's Eve. For New Year's. And it was New Year's Eve day or New Year's Day, and my phone's in my pocket, and we gone somewhere, and we come back, and my butt is hot, and I take my phone out, and it's completely reset.
Oh wow! I do remember that.
Yeah, in my pocket, and I just gotten my phone a month earlier, and I'd taken a bunch of pictures, and I had my daughter she was 6 months old, right? She's in I'm learning to do new things. I was a 6-month-old father, and oh man, I was so angry, and I got everything back but that day, and there was some pictures I wanted from that day, but it wasn't the end of the world.
Yeah,
man, my phone wiped. I was so mad.
Yeah, so I had to it sat on my desk for a while, and I kept coming back to it every couple hours. I would just try again and see if my muscle memory would come back. finally on the last one, like my last attempt, I've already resigned myself to this phone's going to wipe itself.
Yep.
I give it one more try, and it's like, all right, you're good. I was like, oh, thank goodness.
You jerk.
Not that it's like, you know.
Do you remember
I'm
it
using
now?
the iPhone. I do remember now. I wrote it on a sticky note, so I don't forget it. I wrote it on a sticky note. Not that I'm like planning on bouncing back and forth, but yeah, you never know. I don't know. We're gonna give this iPhone thing a go for a couple weeks. But so
I mean,
far,
you've already gone from your Samsung to the iPhone, back to the Samsung in one day, and now you're back to the iPhone again.
This is my my second attempt. The first time though was because I didn't want to. The Chick-fil-A app was on my Samsung.
Yep.
And I needed to order Chick-fil-A, so I went back to my phone for that one.
That makes
so
sense.
I don't plan on going back. I'm not trying to bounce back and forth. It's kind of a work thing because we have a group chat for work that's an iMessage chat, and so
will
I had to
work
be in it with an
pay
iPhone.
for a new phone plan?
If I asked them to, they probably would. But
You could ask them for a new phone number, and the worst thing they could do is say
I
no.
think the worst thing they would do is they'd say yes. I don't want to carry two devices, and you know what? I know there's a way because our worship leader has done this. There's a way to like if you have an iPhone, you can get an Android, and it will send iMessages to your Android phone, but it's a very intricate process that involves a computer. Part of the reason it's an iMessage thing is my church runs on iPads.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like we have iPads for everything.
Well, I mean, given your music director, I understand.
Yeah, we have iPads that run everything. And so I have a MacBook Pro. That's my work laptop. I have a youth group iPad that I use for messages and for pumpkin patch and stuff. So I was using my iCloud account and the kids would message me there, but then I couldn't like just randomly text them back. You know, they were texting me on that platform.
On what? On
iMessage.
iMessage?
It was interacting with the kids on iMessage.
Yeah,
but it was my iPad. And then I'm carrying two devices. I only want to carry one device.
My direct manager has one phone. He has one device. It's his personal phone and his work phone, which means if you, an angry customer, want to get in touch with him, they're going to give you his personal work cell phone number, which also happens to be his personal cell phone number. So it's Sunday, right? And you're spending time with your kids. Well, now you have an angry customer calling you because they were given your personal number, right? Like I can put my work phone away. This is a work phone. It's not work time. I'm not answering this phone. But then most of the time, yeah, sure, I'll answer it. Absolutely. But then now it's time for me to not answer that work phone.
Sure.
So that's, I mean, that's the way I view it. If it was me, if I was in that position, I'd have two phones.
To me, though,
not necessarily your position.
Right. To me, that's what like voicemail's for. Like voicemail is for professional use.
I don't leave you a voicemail unless it's something that I don't need a quick response back. Like, hey Connor, this is my thought. I just want to let you know. Peace. But I'll probably text you that.
I just want to you're going to hang up and you're going to text me. So like when I get a phone call from a number on my personal cell phone and I don't recognize the number and I'm not expecting a phone call, I won't answer it. If it's important, leave me a voicemail. Like if you're trying to reach me,
dude, if it's not important, you're not going to leave a voicemail and I'm not going to call you back. If it's important, you'll leave a voicemail and I'll call you back.
I had somebody call me the other day and they called me one time and they didn't leave me a voicemail. And then all of a sudden it's like, bro, I couldn't find you. I'm like, dude.
Right. You could have called me.
This was a professiontional call. But they're like, oh, well, I couldn't find you. So I just like, okay, well, you tried to call me once and you didn't leave me a voicemail. Like, just, this is professional. This is business. Okay. I will accept a voicemail for that.
That's my biggest pet peeve. I carry two phones anyways. Yeah. I have a work phone and I have a personal phone. And when I get home, my work phone goes on the charger and I don't deal with it. And I mean, it is managed. Like I can't download apps or anything, so it's not like I can do anything with it. But
you're not putting
just
meow,
for
meow
work.
beans on there.
I'll leave a message. Meow meow beans.
Which reminds me, back to D&D. Something I was going to say earlier when you were talking about it. You're trying to convince your brother to play D&D. I cannot imagine anybody watching the D&D episode of Community and not wanting to play Dungeons and Dragons after that.
Try finding it.
That's true. I think one of us has season 2 on DVD.
Yeah, I think I do.
I think you do. I have season 1.
I think you have 1 and 3, or 1 and 4, and I have 2 and 3.
Maybe. I know I at least have one. I'll have to check. One of us has it. But yeah, I mean, watch. Okay, if you can find it these days, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. It's a great episode.
It's season 2.
Season 2. There is a minor. I don't want to say minor. There's an offensive character. I won't say why. Just it's a great episode. Otherwise, it's the first 5 minutes. Just skip the first 5 minutes, and you're good. Thanks for hanging out with us today on Dad's Shoes. We'd really appreciate it if you would share this with your friends and help us get the word out. If you have any feedback on our podcast, you can reach out to us on Twitter at DadShoesPod or email us at dadshoespod@gmail.com. How's Daylight Savings treating you? Are your kids going to sleep? Because mine sure aren't. We would really also appreciate it if you would leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcast. Thanks again for hanging out.
Go to sleep.